What's up, everybody, man? Thanks for tuning in to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live, well, maybe not live, from the still basement. Of course, guys, this is not a live stream. No, this is not a live stream. This is a premiere. This is a premiere, allowing you guys to still chat, but it is a pre-recorded video. And obviously, the reason why is New Year's Eve. And at 8 p.m. Eastern time on New Year's Eve, I can tell you what I'm doing right about now. I've actually started to watch the premiere just a little bit to make sure it cut on, number one. Number two, I have friends and family over. We're having a good time. Drinks are flowing. Food is flowing. It's New Year's Eve, guys. I wasn't going to do this live, and I don't even expect many of you to see this live because it's New Year's Eve. But for those of you who are watching, shout outs and salutes to you. I appreciate you just the same. So I just have a few things to talk about here, guys. And at first, I was going to do the normal Terrible Towel Tuesday where I got my notes ready and all that stuff. Nah, not tonight. Not tonight. This one, I'm just going to freestyle it. Literally, I'm just going to go off the top of the head, man, because there's a lot of things that could be said. There's not much more that can be said that we haven't already said. We said it after the game. We did a post-game show on Thursday following the Christmas game, and it's the same sentiment for the last 3 weeks, right? It's the same sentiment. However, I will say this. Very tough competition over the last 3 weeks. I mean, we knew that. We knew that going into this 4-game stretch. Hey, we even knew it earlier in the season, beginning with Washington, right? Washington was a surprise game later in the season, but beginning with Washington, we knew this was going to be one heck of a stretch, a long stretch, a tough stretch. If I'm not mistaken, the toughest stretch in the NFL, or at least top 2 schedules, right? As far as strength of schedule. But here's the part. Going to Baltimore, is it a winnable game? I guess you could say yes, because the Pittsburgh Steelers won the first game. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, see, I'm talking too fast. The Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, have had their way a little bit with the Baltimore Ravens. But again, I still was one of those people saying, don't get caught up on that. Streaks come to an end. But it's Baltimore. They know us. We know them. So was it possible to go win that game? Sure. Did I say we probably wasn't going to win it? I sure did. I had a feeling that we would split with Baltimore. It just all depended on, was it going to be the home game or the away game? So that one's not too surprising, right? Then you turn around and you have to play Philadelphia. Tough game. Okay? Tough game. Look at how good Philadelphia is playing. The Eagles are playing great football. And now that I'm saying that, I can't remember if it was the Ravens first and then the Eagles, or was it Eagles, then Ravens? I can't remember right now, guys, off of the top of the head, but that 4-game stretch. But either way, it's Ravens and the Eagles, and then the Chiefs. On a very short week, you turn around and play the Chiefs. And actually, I do remember it was Eagles first, then the Ravens, because the Ravens, the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Steelers all were caught up in that, 3 games in 11 days, right? But you play the Philadelphia Eagles, the Baltimore Ravens, and the Kansas City Chiefs in 11 days. That's a tough stretch. I can understand that. But also, what's important to me is how we looked against those teams. Whether or not we won the game or not is secondary to what my thoughts are going to be here in just a moment. It's how we looked. That's what's important. How the team looked in those contests. Because that's going to give you a glimpse as into whether or not they can face off against the playoff teams, the better teams in the league. Can they go tit for tat? And I think we got the answer, right? Did not do well in those games. You started off kind of slow. You kind of pulled your way back where you could almost compete, and then the game got away from you for various reasons. So that's why it was important to see how those games transpired. Very important. It's very important for those of you who still have faith in the Steelers once they get into the postseason, winning a game and maybe winning 2 or whatever your expectations are. Those 3 games should be significant and important. But before I go further, I will look at one quick note that I had here. Mike Tomlin did say that the Steelers pretty much should be very healthy going into this game. This was essentially almost like another bye week. They're going to get Porter back, Skoranek back. They're talking about Trice and Jalen Warren being good to go and pretty much healthy. I don't know if everybody saw it. You saw online that guys like Holcomb and guys like Roman Wilson were practicing. I don't know if these guys are going to be eligible to play, as far as will they be, elevated? I don't know. But even when you look at that, how much does Roman Wilson help having played, as well as Cole Holcomb? Cole Holcomb kind of knows the system. He played with us last year. You could probably get him in. But again, are these guys in football shape? So I'm not going to get overly excited by that. Maybe you try to get these guys another week to get more acclimated, and maybe you use them in some type of spurt or some type of capacity in the playoffs. We'll see. But outside of that, guys, that's really the only other notation I have. Let me just get to my point really quick. And again, let me take time to pause and say I appreciate any of you guys who are watching this. Even though you see a chat right there, this is a premiere. A premiere is basically a pre-recorded video, but you can set it as a premiere. So for those who watch it in real time, you can chat and things like that. And I may be looking into the video right now, but like I said, New Year's Eve, right around 8, a little bit past 8 at this point. I'm having a good time with friends and family here at the home. We're having an outstanding time. Tequila's flowing, margaritas are flowing, food, laughs, whatever you want to call it. So that's why I'm not here with you live. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, man. Very concerning. And I'm going to say this even before facing off against the Cincinnati Bengals. My conversation may be the same next week as we approach the playoffs. But I wanted to say it's very concerning because, again, it's how we looked in these last 3 games. Offense couldn't really get going. Offense looking very stagnant. Offense not getting anything going until later on in the game, where it's at a point where you haven't done enough to even keep your defense off the field. TJ Watt says it all the time. The best defenses in the league are the ones that sit on the bench. He's right. In the last 3 weeks, the Steelers have not been able to sustain drives. And again, I always say it's not always about scoring on every drive, just sustaining drives. Have lengthy drives that eventually turn into drives that produce a field goal and produce a touchdown. That's what happens when you're able to sustain drives, move the chains, flip the field, play ball control, win the possession game. Eventually the dam will break and points start to happen. Steelers have not been able to do that in the last 3 weeks early on. They're always trying to claw their way back. But you definitely can't have that offense with a defense now that seems to have these communication issues. I'm watching it on the All 22, guys. And again, to you all who are members of the channel, I'm a little slow on it this week. I will get that to you this week. I'll probably work on that tomorrow so you can see what happened and what's transpired on Christmas Day, because you guys got to see it. A lot of the coverage bust. It's bad. And again, I know people go back and forth on whether it's the coach's fault or the player's fault. Again, my personal opinion is, execution is on the player. A coach cannot make a player execute. The communication issues that are happening pre-snap, but amongst the players, in my opinion, is the players. Obviously, the play call is already out there. Now, you could debate and have an opinion on the approach as far as play call and defense that's set up and, what we come out in and what formation and alignment and all of that, sure. But I'm talking about coverage busts and communication issues in the secondary at the second level amongst the players. That is on the players. And you got guys pointing fingers at each other, not saying names. You hear guys like Deshaun Elliott saying, dog, you can't have people wide open. You hear Cam Hayward saying, listen, everybody's got to do their job. TJ Watt, same sentiment. Everybody's got to do their job. You understand what I'm saying? So what is it that's going on all of a sudden that wasn't happening early in the year? Again, I've been saying all year that this Pittsburgh Steelers team, this defense gives up explosive plays. That's just who we are. We've been a very good defense for the majority of the year because we're able to create turnovers and produce sacks. But when we don't do that, we have not been a good defense with just getting off of the field, keeping a lid on it. And what I'm talking about is just, going out there and the offense is only able to produce 5 plays on you or 7 plays on you in the drive and you get off the field. Not because of a turnover, not because of a sack, but you're able to just get off the field by playing sound defense, stopping the run on first down, limiting a very short, pass play or what have you on second, and then producing a third and intermediate, third and long, and you get off the field. We haven't done that enough here lately. Early in the season, our defense was producing a lot of 3 and outs and getting turnovers. That hasn't happened in the last 3 weeks. So that's my point, folks. We always definitely want to challenge coaching. Some of it is coaching, I'm sure. But you hear guys like Deshaun Elliott saying, we weren't doing this early on. What is the problem now? They got to figure it out. But this is my concern with this team, and this is why I'm saying they look like a one and done. You guys asked me what my expectations was before the season started, and I said, okay, assuming we're going to go with Russell Wilson, I think the Steelers would be a little bit better than they were last year. You remember me saying that? I said a little bit better. I would expect if we're a little bit better, that means not only do we get to the playoffs, but we win a game. And those were my only predictions, like maybe they win a game finally. And that's it. I didn't expect anything beyond that. Right now, they're looking like a one and done again. Just looking around the league at who they will potentially be playing. That's how they look right now. So it's very concerning. It's very concerning. Offense is not producing nearly enough points and or sustaining drives and winning the time of possession. Offense has way too many 3 and outs. Again, starting the game. See, that's the problem. Yeah, we've had games this year where we've gone over 30 points. Hey, we put up 44 points against the Bengals. But I don't think you can rely on that, especially when this offense hasn't produced anything close to that in the last 3 weeks. As a matter of fact, hold on. Let me just check here in real time to make sure what I'm about to say is correct. I don't think we've gotten more than 20 points over the last 3 weeks. Let me see. Hold on. I want to be correct. Yeah. We got 27 points against the Browns, but against the Eagles, 13. Against the Ravens, 17. Against the Chiefs, 10. We have given up in those games. Go back to Cleveland, right? Cleveland, we only gave up 14. We gave up 38 the week before that to Cincinnati, but listen to this. The Eagles, we gave up 27. The Ravens, we gave up 34. Against the Chiefs, we gave up 29. That right there is showing you, folks, that offense and defense is not playing well for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you are unable to sustain drives and produce points on offense, let me tell you, your defense is going to surrender points. It is a game of attrition. Our defense hangs in there as long as they can, but again, if we're not offsetting some of these drives and these attempts, possession attempts, you understand what I'm saying? If we're not offsetting that with at least a sustainable drive, the defense is going to crack. That's just how it works, especially a defense in the Pittsburgh Steelers who gives up explosive plays. So I will end with this, guys. I don't want to hold you too long. If you are watching this, again, it's New Year's Eve, and if you're like me, you're having a good time right now. I appreciate it. Again, double salute for you all who are watching this. But my gut feeling is, guys, that we're in trouble, man. The Steelers are in trouble right now. They're looking like a one and done football team for the postseason. Will be very interesting to see how this week goes. This is a big game. Again, it's a big game for the Steelers to see if they could get themselves back on track heading into the postseason. Can they look like a formidable opponent, right? I think it's very important for the morale and just the feel of the team and the confidence of the team. Even though I'm sure a lot of the players in that locker room are confident, they know they're going to the postseason. But you don't want to limp into the postseason. You want to at least put a stamp on the regular season and go into the postseason at least on a high. You don't want to go into the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak. But it also is important for the Steelers because Joe Burrow and company is hot. Again, they produced 38 points in the first contest. This should be a personal challenge to the defense to not give up that many points. And again, the offense should take this as an opportunity to get back on track and feel good heading into the postseason. And hey, there's a small chance, if you win this game, still a small chance that you're able to clinch the division. We won't know that. Well, we'll know that, right? Us, and maybe the players, but we'll see that game first, which sounds like the Ravens are probably going to be able to lock that up, with Stefanski, what's his name? Stefanski saying he might play 2 different quarterbacks. I mean, it doesn't look like the Browns will beat the Ravens this time, but again, small chance. But let's say they do beat them, then you have even more motivation at 4:30. But it is a huge game for Cincinnati. They're fighting for a playoff spot. The funny thing is Cincinnati is in the position that the Steelers have been in some recent years where, if we win and we got to wait and see what else happens. That's the position they're in. So I'm sure they're going to come out swinging, giving their best effort. They have nothing to lose. They have a small smidget to gain. So they're going to come with their best shot, especially after us beating them last time, just a few weeks ago. I'm sure they do not want to repeat that, and I'm sure they do not want to surrender 44 points to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So this is a huge game, prime time. And like I said, the Steelers are in the playoffs regardless, but how they perform in this game will really, really let us all know how we feel going into the playoffs. Like I said, they are looking like a one-and-done team today, on December 31st. That's how they're looking. We shall see how we're feeling about them after Saturday. So that's all I got, man. Like I said, man, I wanted to keep this one relatively short. We're at about 17 minutes, 18 minutes or so now. And that's all I got for you guys, you lovely people, man. Like I said, I appreciate you all tuning in. I hope everyone out there has a happy new year. So I wish you guys a happy and blessed new year. Be safe tonight. Be safe. Stay healthy out there. All right. Take care of yourselves. Again, before we go, I'm going to ask you guys to do this right here. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button. If you love the content, subscribe to the channel. And last but not least, make sure you turn on the notification bell. Outside of that, again, guys, be safe out there. Stay healthy. God bless. Good night. I thank you all for tuning in. Happy New Year. I'll catch you guys Saturday after the game. Peace.